Imagine lying in a blood-soaked field, your body broken, watching your own wounds glow in the dark like some kind of macabre firefly. This wasn't a nightmare, it was reality for thousands of Civil War soldiers at Shiloh. Their flickering injuries became known as angel's glow, a phenomenon so strange that for 140 years historians dismissed it as battlefield legend. But the truth is far more shocking. Those soldiers were saved by one of nature's most disgusting miracles, and the same life-saving angels might be inside your body right now. Before we dive in, please like and subscribe to support the community. The scorching summer of 1864 found Union and Confederate forces locked in a grinding stalemate outside Petersburg, Virginia. A vital railroad nexus, the city had to fall to crush the rebellion. Ulysses S. Grant knew it. But Robert E. Lee's battle-hardened troops had fortified it into an ironclad stronghold, their earthworks and cannons daring anyone to try. Then came Lieutenant Colonel Henry Pleasance, a former mining engineer with a plan so audacious it belonged in a penny. Dreadful. Tunnel beneath enemy lines, pack the shaft with enough powder to shake the heavens, and blast a path wide open for Union troops. Miraculously, his superiors signed off. The 48th Pennsylvania Infantry, filled with men who'd wielded picks in coal pits before the war, drew the brutal task. Imagine it, hacking through Virginia's stubborn clay with splintering tools, officers breathing down their necks, every scrape of a shovel risking discovery by rebel patrols. Yet they improvised like madmen. No beams. They stripped fence rails. No air? They jury-rigged bellows from discarded haversacks. After a month of bone-wearying nights, they'd gouged out a 511-foot tunnel, shorted up with scavenged timber, and crammed the chamber with 4 tons of black powder. Before dawn on July 30th, they sparked the fuse. Silence. The fuse had sputtered out at the last junction. Naturally. 2 volunteers slithered back into that tomb, reigniting the line amid a shower of sparks before scrambling for their lives. At 4:44 a.m., the earth split apart. The explosion atomized 300 Confederates and carved a grotesque chasm, 170 feet long, 80 wide, 30 deep. Elliott's salient vanished in the firestorm. Union troops should have flooded the breach like a tidal wave. Instead, commanders hesitated. Orders dissolved into chaos. Soldiers charged headlong into the pit rather than around it, sitting ducks in a killing zone. Lee's men rallied swiftly, transforming Grant's gambit into a charnel house. Initially, General Ambrose Burnside had selected trained United States colored troops, drilled for weeks on assault tactics, to spearhead the charge. But at the last moment, General George Meade wavered. Can't let colored men claim glory, someone surely hissed. The black regiments were pulled, replaced by untested white troops who'd never seen the plans. When the ground erupted, those rookies stood paralyzed. Instead of skirting the crater's rim as practiced, they plunged into its depths, mistaking it for shelter. Catastrophe. The crater's walls, 30 feet of loose soil, crumbled under their boots, trapping thousands in a suffocating pit. Across the field, Confederate General William Mahone needed no orders. While Yankee leaders dithered, his men raced to the crater's edge with rifles and field guns. What followed wasn't combat, it was extermination. Rebels later confessed it felt like shooting cattle, picking off Federals stuck in the mire. Then came the worst. A few black regiments were finally hurled into the fray. When Confederates began bayoneting surrendering USCT soldiers, terror erupted. White Union troops, knowing rebels spared no race traitors, turned their guns on their own black comrades in a grotesque bid to survive. By sunset, the crater stank of blood and ruptured guts. Over 500 corpses littered its belly, some still shuddering as Virginia's furnace heat cooked them alive. The final toll, 3,800 Union fallen to the Confederates, 1,500. That crater didn't just consume men, it obliterated the last illusion of honor in that war. But the bloodiest mystery of Shiloh wasn't about specters. It came from the survivors. After 2 April days of slaughter in 1862, thousands of wounded soldiers writhed in Tennessee's rain-drenched mud, praying for surgeons who wouldn't arrive. Then the eerie blue-green light began. Men with shattered limbs or belly wounds watched their injuries flicker like marshland will-o'-the-wisps in the dark. They dubbed it Angel's Glow, equal parts miracle and nightmare. Here's the twist. The ones with luminescent wounds kept dodging the reaper. Their gashes closed cleaner. Their fevers vanished quicker. For 140 years, veterans' accounts of this ghostly salvation were dismissed as soldiers' folklore. Until 2001, when 17-year-old Bill Martin, scarfing pizza, heard his microbiologist mom rant about glow-in-the-dark nematodes. His friend John Curtis's father studied parasitic insects. Combine them? Teen genius ignited. They realized those soldiers had become unwitting bug motels. Photorhabdus luminescens, try saying that after a whiskey, are bioluminescent bacteria carried by microscopic worms. Normally, these worms hunt soil grubs, vomiting up their glowing passengers to liquefy insects from within. But Shiloh's battlefield was worm heaven. Chilly 50-degree nights kept wounded men just warm enough for the bacteria to thrive, while the cold suppressed human immune responses. Those radiant microbes weren't divine, they were medic. Their eerie light? A byproduct of spewing antibiotics that annihilated gangrene and staph. Those soldiers got accidental worm therapy, saving their lives. The angelic glow? Just worm vomit, sterilizing wounds. So next time you see fireflies, think, nature's compassion often wears a grotesque disguise. History calls the crater a mere tactical failure. Shiloh's glow? A tall tale. But look closer. The real kicker? That worm vomit bacteria didn't just rescue men at Shiloh. It's inside you right now. Photorhabdus luminescens. Same organisms, same glow, still battling pathogens in your gut since 1862. Now connect the dots. The same decay that festered in that crater. The racism that treated black troops as expendable.